shit, guys, I'm so sorry. My live just crashed on my ass out of nowhere. Why did it do that? For those of us who are joining in, or those who were already joined in, I was talking about love and relationships. We're talking about love. We're talking about possession. We're talking about the difference between the two, and the difference, and just all that type of stuff, love, relationship stuff. And I was just saying, a lot of times I think it's important to treat the person you're in a relationship with as a friend, because I've seen sometimes in these relationships with people that, what you'll say to your friend, you can't even say to your loved one. Like, let's say, for instance, you're having a conversation with your friend and you say to your friend, look, girl, when you come over here and you eat up on my food, I don't rock with it, sis. And she's like, all right, girl, I'll bring something over the next time. Boom, you can have a conversation like that. Sometimes people are afraid to talk to the people they're in love with or in a relationship with. They're not even able to utter what they want to say because they're afraid of hurting that person's feelings, or they're afraid that person won't get it, or that person is going to just lash out at them. To me, that's not how it has to be. You should be able to say whatever you want to say, and sometimes it may be hard, but you have to be able to know that that person is creating a safe space for you, that you could say to them, honey, my ass itch, and I don't know what to do about it. Obviously this is a deep love, when you get to that level with somebody, but you should be able to say whatever, and they should say, wow, baby, really? Okay, wait a minute, let's talk about this. Did you take new medication? Whatever it may be. To me, you need to be able to communicate with that person. And I'm telling you, I've been in so many situations in my past, whether it be with a friend or whether it be with a lover, where I felt like I could not communicate, even with family members, where I felt like I literally couldn't communicate. And I realized that had to be fixed before anything could go any further. You know what I mean? You have to be able to talk to somebody without them lashing out at you, and be able to say, okay, boom, let's discuss this. Let's talk about this. You know what I mean? And you get in arguments and a little bit of stuff like that, but you can't give up. You can't give up. And as long as that person is willing to walk through you, that's what it's about. Love. It's about somebody that's willing to hold your hand and say, you know what? It's been rough this week, and I was about to just choke your ass in your sleep, but I decided not to, and I prayed, and now I'm ready to try again today. You know what I mean? You got to do that. You got to do that. Any other questions that anybody want to talk about? I'm probably going to start taking some live calls and go live with some people to get in on this subject, because I love talking about love and relationship and friendships. And that's what my whole life revolves around that, honestly. Of course, my life revolves around work too, and me wanting to be creative and all that. But I think relationships and friendships and all that stuff is important in our life. I think that's what life is about. Someone said some people don't want to hear the truth, and that's just toxic. Honestly, some people don't want to hear the truth. Some people don't want to hear I've been in that place where I don't want to hear the truth, and I don't want to see what things for what they are. And people that love me, like my mom or somebody or my dad, family, usually are the ones that tell you the truth like that, and they have to literally let you go through it. And there's nothing anybody can do, and they just have to pray for you, because people are going to see it when they want to see it. You can't make people see it when you want them to. That's the reality. Yeah, somebody said not feeling the need to control. You must have freedom in relationships. I think that's important, because if the person that you're in a relationship with is controlling you, first of all, I don't believe they're acting from a true place of love. They're acting from a place of insecurity. And if you're insecure 99% of the time, to the point that you're controlling the person that you're with, well, you got some self-love that you need to first attack. You need to first figure out how to love yourself to where you're not trying to crunch down nobody else. But when it comes to that you crunching down somebody else, and they're not making you free in a relationship, not only is it not good for the relationship, but it's not good for your life. Because if you're dating somebody that's holding your freedom as an individual, baby, oh, sweetie, things are about to get rough. Because if you're not able to be your free self, and somebody's not inspiring you to be your true self, then how are you supposed to evolve? Anybody that you got a relationship, friend, lover, otherwise, they need to be elevating your world. And I'm not saying they got to offer you something. What I'm just saying is, when you're around them, when you feel their energy, when you're rocking with them, when y'all are talking and stuff, you should leave the conversation feeling good, not drained. I've been on a conversation with people, I've dated people before, where I'm just like, after I'm done, walk out the room with their ass, I look in the mirror and I feel like I'm 90 years old or some shit. That's not good. But you live and you learn. Friendships in your 20s, how do you do it? I think you have to know that you're still a kid. I think we're kids for a longer time than we were told we are. I think we believe that we're only kids till we get out of our teens, but we're kids for, I feel like, 20 more years after that. And I think you have to realize that we're all growing, and we're all growing at different speeds. You have to give yourself some grace, and you have to give other people some grace, which can be difficult because I think in your 20s, much like in your teenage years, everything seems so intense and everything seems so, and obviously I'm still in my 20s too, so I'm speaking from experience and I'm speaking from just what I've heard, because I feel like we feel that everything is over and done. And I think a lot of that is that we want to be so, we want to be just so perfect. We want to be, we grown. It's like we get, well, I'm not a kid no more, so I got to be grown. But it's like, you're going to still make mistakes. Other people are going to make mistakes. And sometimes you'll grow apart and sometimes you'll come back together. So I think you just have to give yourself a little bit of grace, be a little bit kind to yourself, and understand that 20s don't mean got it all figured out, even though that's what we thought it meant. How to commit to yourself when the person you love won't commit to you. Well, how to commit to yourself when the person you love won't commit to you is simply you being done with they ass. And I repeat, being done with they ass. Because if somebody is letting you know out flat and right that they don't want to commit to you, then the only way that you can be real with yourself is to not commit to them. And that's not tit for tat. That's giving what you're receiving. And I know a lot of people say, well, that's how I want to give, what I want to give. But it's stupid to give to people that are incapable of giving you back repeatedly. Let me repeat that. It is not smart to continuously give to people that cannot give back to you. Because if you surround yourself with people that are not able to give to you as much as you're giving to them, it's not about selfishness. It's not about any of that. It's just about making sure that you're spreading yourself out to be able to get balance fully from the people in your life. It's literally not, I want to give in abundance. I have an abundance to give, but I only have an abundance to give because I'm also balancing it with people that are giving to me. Just as much as I want to give, I got a whole group of folks that's giving to me back. So you can't commit to things and people repeatedly, consistently, and give without receiving anything in return, because that's just not how it works. Even if you think of it in a chemistry terms, or if you think about it in science terms, energy, it has to bounce back and forth. If you're bouncing and receiving nothing, then what's going to happen? Your ass is going to go dead. Negative plus positive, I think it's a negative, ain't it? Look, I never was a math whiz, but y'all get it. Do I believe in soulmates? I do. I do believe in soulmates, 1000%. But I don't think it's the way that always we think it is. I think we often think about soulmates in terms of love, like meaning like romance. And sometimes I think my mom is my soulmate. I think your soulmate is somebody that changes your life, somebody that makes an impact in your world and makes you see the world differently. And that can be a lover, but it can be a friend too. Somebody said, is it wrong to want to be reassured and have attention every day? That to me has to be more unpacked. Because what do you mean reassured? What are you trying to be reassured on? And what are you asking for somebody else to reassure you on that you can't reassure yourself with? That's the thing. Another thing is sometimes go to yourself. Sometimes your relationship isn't meant to do this shit. A lot of people think their relationship is meant to do this, and that for them. No. The person that you're in a relationship with, I think all you need from them is communication, support, loyalty, and trust. And of course, a little sexual chemistry. You can't have no dry shit going down. Just got to be real on that. Hey V, what's up, Pooh? Who else is asking some questions? Just trying to make sure I don't miss toxic friendships. Friendships can be toxic as well, and I think it's the same thing. I think the only difference to me that I see sometimes with friendships and love is the sex aspect or living together or something like this. But even friendships, you may live together. Like friendships and romantic relationships, I don't think that they are that different in terms of how you deal with them or what you would or wouldn't accept. I feel like a relationship is a friendship. It's just a little bit more stuff added to it. You maybe expect that person to be a little bit more like you would expect that person to be in the delivery room with you, as opposed to a friend doesn't have to. But if they did, then that means y'all really tight. You know what I mean? But I feel like they should be handled in similar ways. Everything that you expect in a relationship, you should have also expected in a friendship. I can't speak my mind with my partner without him catching some type of feelings. Well, if you can't speak to your partner without them catching some type of feelings, that doesn't mean you need to break up with them, but you need to maybe let them know that. And if you let them know that and they're not willing to work with you, I mean, there's only so much that somebody's going to be able to take, and only you know that. But if you're not able to tell them something and y'all not able to move forward, I'm not sure what can happen. You know, what can that lead to? Because you're only going to get resentful and frustrated, or you're going to hold it all in and you're going to explode. And that's not going to be good. You know, so, I mean, you need to feel like you can say what you want to say, and that your partner needs to feel like you saying what you want to say and you expressing your emotions, your feelings, isn't you attacking them. You know, maybe it's the way that you could be communicating, or maybe it's the way that they're receiving it. You know, sometimes we can figure those things out and try. Maybe I need to keep my voice low, or maybe I should write a note, or maybe I should, you know, what are the better ways to communicate? You know, you can find in your own relationship, but I mean, you have to get past that, and they're not willing to work with you. Then that says a lot. Let me see what else. Hey, Rennie Ren. My sister in the other room, but she's literally in the chat watching this live. Hilarious. Now, somebody said something that I think is really, really critical. They said it's not always like that. Sometimes they did something to make you be insecure. First of all, no one has power over you unless you give it to them. And if you're with somebody that's playing on your insecurities, whether they're conscious of it or it's a subconscious act they're doing, that's a manipulative, toxic, and very much so controlling behavior to literally trigger someone to feel insecure and trigger them to feel down. That's them specifically immobilizing you. And if you feel in a relationship that somebody keeps triggering you and you're expressing yourself that this is not good to me, and you're expressing yourself clearly, meaning I don't have a problem with you having friends that are girls. I have a problem with you disrespecting me in front of them, or I have a problem with you, touching them inappropriately, or I don't know what, I'm using an example, but you have to be specific on these things. And if they are literally continuing them without any type of, making sense response. And I wish I could know without a doubt with this situation, the specifics of it. But if someone is playing on your insecurities in a relationship, you have to go. But what happens, and what makes that so difficult, is if somebody's already been playing on your insecurities, now you don't trust yourself. They've played on your insecurities so tough that now when you think about leaving, you're not sure anybody will want you. They played on your insecurity so tough, now you feel like you're crazy, and maybe your insecurity, you start invalidating yourself the same way that they were invalidating you. And that's when we get into the narcissist combo, and we get into dealing with people that are narcissists. Because a narcissist will make have your head so damn messed up that you'll believe that you deserve to be in a psycho home because they done had you spinning your wheels twice since Tuesday. So that's even going deeper with everything that we're going in on. But when somebody starts playing on insecurities, you got to be real careful and start to really back your ass back, because they have you so insecure by the end of it, you won't even know how to be confident with yourself. You won't even know how to be secure anymore in your own ideas enough to walk your ass away from them. So you got to be careful with that, love. That's a dangerous road. I'm trying to get into this. Let me see. Yeah, a lot of people can be insecure. And definitely know thyself. Definitely know thyself. Let me see what else. Yeah, we're still learning. My mom said we're still learning. She's 50-something, and she's like, we're still learning. I'm just trying to get into all these questions. Hey, Joey. I'm just reading these comments, you guys, trying to make sure that I see. And also I see people are actually sending in specific questions. So I'm about to look at those specific questions as well in 2 seconds. I'm just also interracial relationships and why some people don't like it. I don't know why some people don't like it. I know for me in the past, I used to think, I couldn't date someone that wasn't in my same culture, for the simple fact that if I did, they wouldn't get it. They wouldn't get it. But what I realized after dating someone outside of my culture is that sometimes it's so beautiful to date someone outside of your culture, for the simple fact that you get to see things from their point of view, and they get to see things from your point of view, and y'all get to share ideas. And guess what? Just because somebody is the same culture as your ass doesn't mean that they see shit the way that you see it. I think that's another misconception about dating within your race or within your culture or within whatever your confinements are, is that you assume that that person's going to get it, or that person sees and views things the same way that you do. And that's not true. You can be from the same family with somebody and not see things the same way as they do. So I think just because, you think in your mind, if I date outside of my race, that person's not going to see the same way as me, that's not true. I'm gonna tell you that today. I know from experience that that's not true. So I don't know. I think some people are afraid of it because it feels too different. I know a lot of times speaking with black women, sometimes they can think that, I got to explain to him the black struggle. I got to explain. That's not true. I think, of course, there are cultural specifics in anybody's culture, that you're going to explain. But I don't to think that you won't be expressing or explaining your point of view on things unless you're in a relationship with somebody that's not of the same culture is not correct. You should be explaining your point of view and talking and having major good discussions with anybody you date. Friends, family, same race, not same race, same background, not same background. Y'all should have discussions because, obviously everybody's not going to see things the same. So this is not something that just should happen in an interracial relationship. It should happen in all types of relationships where you have deep discussions, explaining your point of view and expressing how you feel and talking about your struggle. Because guess what? Just because we both black, it doesn't mean that we have the same struggle either. That's another thing. Everybody's struggle is not the same. It's not right. Let me see. Getting a lot of comments in. I don't have a podcast, but somebody talked to me about having friends interfering with relationships. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane, Pooh. Stay in your lane. That's what I always say to friends. I've had some friends try to get in on my relationship, but I always mine's mine. And so I only expect the same from someone else. Don't try to tell me now, look. If you see somebody doing some crazy stuff, you can let me know. But when it gets to the point of you should leave him and I don't like him for you, you got to be very careful. I think when you love your friend, you got to be careful. And also you want them to keep talking to you. So, because you want to know what's going on. So if some stuff really pop off, then you can make sure the popos is on the street waiting for his ass at the corner. But, you got to be careful because what can happen is if you start trying to tell your friend what to do, then she's not going to open up to you or he's not going to open up to you and you're not going to be able to, know what's going on and make sure they're okay. So I think that's a balancing game. You can't be too pushy. You got to understand that people have to learn on their own. So love them the best way you can. Definitely had friends try to tell me who to talk to, for sure. Should I tell my boyfriend that he did wrong? Yeah, you should tell your boyfriend that he did wrong or that he hurt you. You should express it to him in whatever fashion that you feel is best. I think you do need to express that. You have to tell people how you feel. And sometimes I've done this before where I've held things in a relationship. I've held things in so tough and it only hurt me in the end because then I become resentful and then I get this pit in my stomach and I literally become sick. I could bring me down when I don't express myself. So I think you really have to, What up, Jay? Jay Farrow in the house. Excuse me, I don't know where that came from. How to separate controlling ways versus disrespect. I don't know. I think it's controlling to tell someone what they can and cannot do. That's controlling. And but disrespect, expressing disrespect is it's its own separate thing because someone disrespecting you doesn't need to result in you controlling. sometimes people, realize or know that the person that they're with is not the right person. And instead of seeing that for what it is and leaving their ass, they start turning into someone else, which is a controlling or possessive person. And that's the other reverse, to where you actually did love someone, but you realized that they weren't loving you the way that you needed to be loved. And so instead of walking away from them, you turned into somebody. But you got to know what side of right you're on. What does it mean when you feel you have friends or associates that you don't have anything in common with? I don't know who the hell they are. Acquaintances? Shit, you said it when you said associates. You don't have nothing in common with them. Then what do y'all talk about? You ain't got nothing in common with them. What y'all doing? Sitting around looking at each other? I'm not sure about this. Oh my gosh, you guys are writing so much. I'm trying to get into it. What do you say when you get into an relationship and you find the guy doesn't have a vision and is not willing to do? Oh, what do you do when let's say you get in a relationship and find out that the guy doesn't have a vision and is not willing to do anything about his life? Do you stick around? No, I went through that before. You don't stick around, especially if you're the kind of woman that does have a vision and does want to do something about it. Get ready to be dragged down. So I think it's dangerous. I think that's dangerous because that person will eventually, if not already, become even more unhappy with themselves. And the more that they see you excelling and them not having the courage to do so, it will be just completely uneven. And that's when what you call an unequally yoked scenario, in my opinion. What do you do if they don't want to do anything about it? If you can tell that someone doesn't want to do anything about it, then that's when you have to do something about it. Because to me, true love is also saying I have to walk away from you because you're not treating yourself the way you're telling me you want to treat yourself. And if I keep engaging with you in this way, and making this seem like a reality, like kind of feeding into your delusion, even though you're not actually putting actions to what you're saying, then I'm not showing you true love. The truest love that I can show you sometimes is to walk away, because I need you to realize that what you're doing is not going to give you the results that you want. To keep doing the same things and saying the same things, but not doing something different and expecting different results is by definition insane. That's insanity. You can't do that. We're all human. Be willing to learn, explore, and adjust. Period, Pooh. Hey, Joey. Joey Diggs. Let me see. You can't make someone want you. You can't. You just can't do it. Don't change your status just to please them. Have someone support your dreams and visions, vice versa. Emotional blackmail is devastating, but you have to let it go. And what I mean by let it go is accept let them do it. Let them say the things that they're saying. Recognize it for what it is. Be aware that it's emotional blackmail and just accept it for what it is. Do not engage. Do not engage with how could you do me this way? How could you leave me like this? Why didn't you have my back? Why you left me? Why you let the man keep me down? All that shit. Do not take the blame. I'm so sorry that I have to go right now because I see so many different questions coming in, you guys. I need to do another call with y'all to get into some of this, because this is really We're having some fun. I wish I could keep on going. I got to go, but love you guys. And catch me the next time. I love talking about dating and stuff like that. So if y'all want to chit chat about that with me anytime, I'm always your girl and always ready to talk. I don't know everything. I've had my own experiences, but there's still so much for me to learn. But I love chit chatting and learning with y'all. So let me know, Pooh. Bye.